Hey, everybody, it is Tim Gillette, and we're back here with another episode of the Tim Gillette Show. Today's guest is someone I don't know. I don't know who this person is, but I do know that they're one of the coolest people on the planet. And I know that because I only let the coolest people on the planet on the show. Now, I did do a little research. I did check out her website. I did see a little bit about what she does, but I don't know her story. I don't know where she came from. I don't know what she's doing, how she's doing it. I know very little. And that's what I like about my show. I get to interview these people and for the first time get the reactions on camera. So if you're watching this on video, you get to see my reactions when they tell me something that's like a wow moment. So today's guest, all right, Dailyn Matthews, all right, is someone who found my stuff online and filled out the application. I don't even know how she found me, but I'm going to find out about her. And so are you at the same time. Ready? Here we go. Dailyn Matthews, welcome to my show.
Hello, Tim. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited about our conversation.
Yeah, I am too, because I like racking my brain. I really don't know how you even found my stuff.
Well, I have a very dear friend by the name of Sandra Robinson.
Oh, yeah. Sandra. Yeah, she's a very close friend of mine.
She tipped me off to this really cool friend of hers. Yeah. So there you go.
I love her. I love her husband. She's about the only person that's ever going to get me on a horse again. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm very dear friends with her husband. I knew both of them back in LA before they moved to Texas. So yeah, Alan's one of my favorite people, and so is Sandra.
Yeah, I have loved Alan. The first time I ever met Alan was he came because she was speaking at one of my conferences, and he came with her. And this is the first time I ever got to meet him. I'd never known him. And like now he's like a buddy of mine. I walk down there. Oh, Tim, come here. Let me show you the project I'm working on. And gives me the tour of the ranch again. So yeah.
The ultimate MacGyver.
Yes, he is. So, and he did, like, Sandra and I did another event together a couple of years ago. And we did a pre-video series. Like I drove down to her ranch. All right. We did video primo for it. He ran the camera the whole time for us. It's like, he was just so cool. Anyway,
he's the jack of all trades.
He is just so good. So, well, so you found me through Sandra. All right. I understand. Like I got a little bit by looking at your website. I guess you're into photography or something like that. Tell me about what you do.
Something like that. Well, I actually know Alan because I've been a stunt woman for 22 years. Oh, wow. So I raised my daughter on my own and kind of needed a career that could get me a decent amount of money in a short amount of time so I could be around to raise her, and put her through university and let her fly with her wings. And I've been a photographer. My first Nikon was at 18. So I've been shooting all my life. Mm-hmm. And I finally, after I've taken care of my daughter, I was like, I can start this other career that I've always been so passionate about. So a few years ago, I basically packed everything I had and I went to Europe to try and make a good that I've wanted. And so little by little, it's been building. So, cool. But yeah, so actually my father was my impetus, and he's been losing his eyesight for the last 15 years. And I decided to go see the world so I can send it back to him before he lost his eyesight.
Oh, wow.
So, and we just lost him. But I had some really beautiful, the service was really beautiful. And I had people come up to me and they said, he's been living vicariously through you. So I'm not going to stop. Yeah. He's still with me, and I'll go see the world for him. And I love inspiring other people. So my goal is to work with the outdoor industry and go to the extremes. There's a shortage of female photographers. There's only like 20% of professional photographers are women, and they're shooting portraits and weddings. And so there's only a handful of adventure photographers, and kind of using my 20 years of stunt experience to prove that I can, go out there and do what the boys do.
So adventure photographers, I'm going to throw a name out and see if by any chance you know this girl. Her name is Allison DeLapp.
I don't. I
You
don't.
don't?
Another female. That's fantastic.
She actually now, I think she used to be a photographer. I know she actually worked on some photography stuff. I think on Sons of Anarchy. I
Oh,
think she
really?
did. Yeah. And I met her on like a motorcycle road trip. I was going out west. She was heading east, and we stayed at the same campground one night.
That's
All right.
awesome.
And then 6 months later, we connected again. She was in Texas and I was at home. So I basically ran out to where she was, connected with her. All right. And got to have dinner with her one night and everything and see her. She's now since moved on. I think she lives on the East Coast. She's married to a wonderful gentleman. And she does, I think she works in something with the Overland Expo or something like that. So, so she's into motorcycles.
Well, I have
And
a CBR 600 sitting in my trailer back in California, mister.
yeah.
So I ride too.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when you said, female photographers who is adventuring, I'm like, well, that's somebody I know who's adventuresome. Like, and I met her just because we literally crossed paths staying at the same campsite one night in Arizona. Yeah.
My best stories come from the people that I meet along the road.
Yeah. And that same thing. When I took that road trip that I took, that motorcycle road trip, I started here in Texas, drove all the way up through to Seattle, over through Montana, Wyoming, back down through Colorado, all of that. And I met people, and like I met a guy in Morro Bay, California. Still friends with him. He has a great coffee shop. Still friends with him up there. I met two guys in Eureka, California.
Oh, yeah.
Places. Like that's like the far corner of California. And that was a neat adventure. And
some beautiful, some of the most beautiful areas in this country.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really loved Montana. I connected. Actually, I have a lady who became a client that I met at a biker event in
Sturgis?
I was staying in Missoula, Montana. And she was from Kalispell, Montana. She was down at an event where a lot of guys were coming through on their way to Sturgis, stopped at it in Montana. And I met her there. She now lives, she lives in Texas here, married a guy down in the center of Texas. I can't think like College Town or something, like College Station. Yeah. And it's like that road trip, all adventuresome people that I met along the way.
I learned how to ride a horse in Kalispell. Yeah, I worked on a cattle ranch up in Libby, Montana. So right outside Kalispell. I love that area.
Yeah. So yeah, this girl had that girl up there. She had a mobile. She was partners with a girl and had a mobile van doing like a mobile coffee shop. So basically, she had a van set up at this truck or this biker thing, making espresso drinks for people. That's how I met her. And yeah, of course, I'm into espresso, so I'm like, yeah, I got that anyway. Isn't it funny though how we will meet people along the way because we're on an adventure called life, right? And I get that feeling you're the same way. You're on an adventure called life, right? And
I always say that I take pretty pictures, but it's the stories that make my memories. I have so many incredible people. I recently left Georgia. And ended up coming here to Detroit, where I am right now with my family. And I did, road trip camping all the way from Atlanta up through Tennessee and Kentucky and West Virginia and Ohio. And I stopped in this coal area, West Virginia. Yeah. And this little barbecue place. I mean, you can appreciate the barbecue thing. So I was like, I'm leaving the South. I got to get some good barbecue. For days, I was like searching for barbecue. And this one day I was just like looking for this campground, and I came across this little I wish I could remember the name of it. It's like, Chili Corner or something like that. And the woman that I met there, she was very she had this amazing personality, really big, rhinestone eyeglasses, and, her fingernails painted some crazy color, and just sweet as can be, that Southern hospitality that you get. And she sat and talked to me, and she is an advocate for feeding the children in the area, because it's such a poor part of this country that she'll try and she does she homeschools her children, but she grows her own food, and she'll get, from local farmers, she'll get some produce to take to these children who their parents have some sort of drug addiction and they're not present, or they're relying on their school meals, and the school meals are lacking in nutrition. And it was just incredible, because at first glance, I would have never in a million years expected that this was this woman, It was just like, and when you get closer to people, and actually hear their stories, and I have such a knack for, like, I don't know what it is, but I open people up and they just tell their stories. I'm like, this is incredible. How is it that I've gained their trust in that moment to, tell me their story? And I told her, I said, I'll come back. And if it helps, she works with the local government, and I said, if it helps your cause at all, I'll come and photograph these children. But, those kind of things that I just happened to be driving by this little cafe. I would have never had this experience had it not been for that moment. So I live for those.
Those are adventures that you can't, you can't look up on a map and go,
this is where I'm going and this is what I expect to happen. It's like so unpredictable. And it really has taught me how to be present, in that moment. As a photographer, I'm always looking at light and, time of day and weather. And of course, being a landscape photographer, I'm looking at, the overall picture of what I'm looking at. And now that I'm more focused on the outdoor gear industry, I'm needing to photograph people, because of course, in order to advertise their product, you need to put them in the product, right?
Yeah.
And so now I'm putting people in my landscapes. And so I look at the world a little differently than other people. I've been on adventures with my daughter, and I've, stood in the same place with her, and I looked out maybe on something like as epic as the Grand Canyon. And you say, do you see what I'm seeing? And she's like, not in the way that you see it. And so, as a photographer, that's my goal, is to encapsulate what my eyes are seeing so I can, share that with the world.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I have a friend who did that in film years and years and years ago. He wanted to be a filmmaker, but God called him to do other things. And he ended up working for a mission, like a missionary company. And he was going to different countries with the missionaries to do film projects. And his first mission project he went on was to Cuba. And he came back from Cuba with this idea and the story he heard this guy tell down there. And he wanted to take and play that guy's talking the story and film it as a series for you to watch while he's talking. And he came to me and he went, you've got the eyes that this guy has. So I want to use you as the younger guy. And I'm not an actor in any way, shape, or form. But that was a meaningful thing, because he did exactly what you did. It's like, he found the story and then he come back and put it on film. And the daughter of that man, when she's seen it at the missions conference, was blown away, going, how did you take my dad's story and make it impactful in that way? And that's finding the story.
You're used to being on camera. So, that for a lot of people, it is, I would love to do more photojournalism. I'd love to, I love candids. I love capturing those stories. A selfie society that everybody's aware. You have a camera and they start posing for you. And it's like, no. I want to actually see what's happening. I just want to be the fly on the wall and I want to capture this. And it's hard to get people to allow you, to allow you to capture them in their real space. And so I think that you probably brought that to the story, that he may not have been able to do that had he put him on film. So that's really beautiful.
And it's replaying on my page tomorrow. So those who want to see it, it'll be replaying tomorrow. But anyway, it's also on YouTube. His story is actually on YouTube with my stuff. But anyway, I want to get back to what got you into this in the first place. Now, this wasn't your first career. You had a previous career or something before having the daughter?
I've always been in the acting world. And I've worked behind the scenes as far as production and stuff like that. But when I had my daughter, I hadn't been working, and I left an abusive marriage, and I was with this tiny little child, and I had no idea what I was doing and hadn't worked for a while. And so it was like what I call my life reassessment times, where you kind of have to sit down and say, what's my next step? What do I do? And for me, and I meet a lot of people along the way that are kind of at a crossroads in their life, and they're struggling, and they say, and my first question is, what is it that you love? What is it that you love? And so for me, it was like, I'm a little crazy, but the right kind of crazy. I'm very athletic, and I love this crazy business that I was in, the film business. And so that's how I came to be a stunt woman. And it's people that I meet along the way, I can't even tell you, everyone that finds out that I'm a stunt woman, they say, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to be a stunt person. And I'm like, my response is, am I the only person on the earth that didn't want to be a stunt person? But I'll tell you, when I start telling my childhood stories, it's like, oh yeah, I was like the queen of the donuts. I grew up in Michigan, and I'd pack everybody into my car, and I'd go spin, do 360s in a parking lot. I was jumping off like framed buildings in our, in the neighborhood. I was, running down the train tracks. So it was like the crazy things that I used to do. So it definitely was always in me, and it gave me, it's been a great career for me. But I've always had the photography in my back pocket. And the thing that I was afraid of when I did my next life reassessment, which was, after I put my daughter through university, it was like, if I do this, am I gonna you lose your passion? Like if you have a strong passion for something and you make it a job, sometimes the passion goes away. Yeah. And I never wanted to lose that. I was just like, if I'm being forced to make money, with my art, am I going to lose that? Yeah. And it's been an incredible journey so far. And I just, and I was self-taught. So I don't have my technical skills. I always feel like I need more. I feel like I'm always learning. I'll never stop learning. I have the curiosity of a 3-year-old. And so for me, it's like, I just keep learning more and more, and I keep going out on these adventures, because if I want some, client to hire me, if I want Patagonia to hire me, I have to be able to say, yeah, I'll go freeze my butt off in the Himalayas, and I'll, produce the product for you. And so I just recently did a backpacking trip to Isle Royale. And I'm usually so loaded down with gear that I don't do like ultra light backpacking. And I was carrying about 50 pounds. And the first day I did like 9 miles of hiking, and that was an adventure. But I pushed myself. I love to challenge myself, and physically especially. And then I went on and did a solo canoeing trip to the Boundary Waters. And I was alone on an island, and I got hit by a storm. And I had a very, probably the most terrifying night I've ever had. A very harrowing night. And I didn't know I was going to survive. Wow. And I tell you right now, on the top of my to-do list is a survival course. So I'm very smart about what I do. I've been doing it for a long time. I do a lot of research. I have a certain set of skills, but when you're put in a scenario like that, you realize which ones are missing. And so, but I love pushing myself. It's something that is kind of, in me, and that makes me. The other thing I'll tell you about that night was, as a stunt performer, I'm not reckless. I do risk assessment. We work so we can, we do a stunt and we break it all down, and we do it safely because we have to do it take after take after take. And so, you get broken, then they replace you. So you want to be able to, do it safely and smart, and have a great, analysis of it before you go ahead and do it. And in laying in my tent that night, it was all about, I never lost my cool. It was just a risk assessment of like, this is what's going to happen. How are you going to get out of it? Are you prepared for it? I had a satellite in reach with me sending an SOS. It was like, I was prepared, but that's what I want to do. I'm actually looking to do, I have this Arctic wildlife refuge expedition that I'm looking to be a part of next year. And they need a couple brands to work with that will help. That's what I'm working on right now, is like I'm seeking a couple brands to work with that will help kind of recommend me for this submission. So that's my present goal at the moment.
Okay. And it's interesting, you know what I mean? When you first of all, you talk about, you know what I mean? As a kid, you were doing donuts in the parking lot. In Pennsylvania, where I grew up, doing donuts in the parking lot was how we learned how to drive in the snow.
Exactly.
That was just part of the education process that Dad gave you. It wasn't like, we're doing donuts to do donuts. No, you had to learn how to control a car in the snow. And if you hit the light pole in the parking lot, you had to fix the damage.
Exactly. How many ditches did you land in, Tim? How many ditches?
Only 2.
Oh, that's pretty
only
good.
2 in the snow. And it's funny because you know what I mean? I went, my dad passed away in 2011, and I had to go back to Pennsylvania in the dead of winter. I hated it, right?
After being in Texas.
Yeah, it was so frustrating with me that I had to go back there for that. And then I finally get back to Texas, and that was the year that the Super Bowl was here, and the ice storm came to Dallas.
And it snowed. Oh,
and it snowed and iced, and like the roads were a sheet of ice for like 10 days, and I wrecked 2 cars in one day.
You're kidding.
And I'm like, oh. One of them was because a lady pulled in. I had a white. It was my father-in-law's. I had a white the Explorer.
Oh,
right?
no.
And in the snow, a white vehicle in the snow.
She didn't see you.
Yeah. They pulled right out in front of me. So I swerved not to hit them. And I would have been better off hitting them. I would have got some insurance money from them.
Oh.
All right. As opposed to I went around them and lost control of the vehicle and hit a pole. So
no. Well, at least you weren't hurt. Well,
I wasn't, so.
Georgia, I've been in Georgia, and it snowed a couple years ago, and I went out in the snow because, of course, I had to go photograph it, and it was so beautiful. And there were people in ditches and spun out and everything. And there's a guy in like one of those big ravines in the median, and he had been spinning and spinning. So I went over there. I said, "Hey, can I give you a hand?" And he goes, "I've called my buddies. They're coming in with a winch." And I just said, very, like, "Do you mind if I just give it a try?" And like in 2 seconds, I had him out, and I go, "You might want to call your buddies and tell them you don't need to be pulled out anymore." But I guarantee you, he did not tell his buddies that a female drove his truck out of the ditch. I guarantee you.
Yeah, he's at the first party you went to. Yeah, so this good-looking blonde lady just got me out, and they're all like, "Yeah, sure."
So good times.
Yeah. And it's all the things that we do that are like the bizarre things that I'm not like the adventure, like I want to be in stunts type person. I drove motorcycles. I've got 1 million miles on 2 wheels, and I only went down one time.
Oh my God, that's so great, Tim. That's so great. Rubber side down, man. Keep it that way, right?
Well, I sold my last motorcycle in 2018. I just haven't bought another one yet. So, but I went down because I just bought a chopper and I was rebuilding it and had no brakes. And like I was on a group ride and everybody stopped short. I went right around.
Isn't that not the first thing you check before you get on that bike?
I had a rear brake, but my front brakes didn't work. Right. Just to be honest.
Right.
And I bought this bike off of like Craigslist, and it was a wrecked chopper. And my friend Faith had this motorcycle group ride thing she did to raise money every year. Right. And this was like her second year of doing it. And she went, when I met her up at something, and she said, "Well, you got a motorcycle, you have to come on my ride."
Right.
I'm like, "Faith, I don't do group rides." And like, this was like part of a group of friends I had that we always swore we would support each other no matter what we did. And she said, "Tim, you swore you would support me no matter what." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll come on the ride." And then I wrecked, and she felt horrible. And I'm like, "I told you the bike was not ready for this." But wait a minute. I get up, 4 cracked ribs. I get up and rode the bike home. So picked it up one-handed.
See, you're just as tough as a stunt person. There you go.
I know. So, and I was at work 4 hours later at my job. Ribs wrapped, face bruised.
Oh my God.
I looked like a stunt person that day. I'm telling you. But anyway, but I've never got into that, like, the extreme stuff. I think I've got like this aversion to pain. You know, I stubbed my toe on like the corner of a chest or something in my bedroom and forget it. Like I'm down for 4 weeks. Oh, I'm hurting. Yeah.
No, it's you boys. You think you're so tough, right?
Yeah. I'm just not as tough as everyone else, I guess. And my wife picks on me all the time because I get sick. I'm a baby. She gets sick and like she gets up and does everything. So yeah.
You're not alone with that. I think there's a lot of men that are like that too. That's why we're such good nurturers as females.
Yeah.
We were put on this earth to take care of, people. So,
yeah. However, I will say that as a child, we had a driveway that was like a slope driveway, and we put a ramp on it to ride our bikes down and jump.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so you get that, right? I know my mom will probably tune in today, but my mom, I love telling this story when my mom's around because I tell everybody about how mean my mom was growing up. I jumped off the ramp and sprained my ankle real bad. Crawled to the house, opened the door, and like, Mom, I hurt my ankle. I hurt my ankle. She came over to the door, pushed me out, shut the door, and said, "Go back outside and play."
That's the way we were raised. Okay, dude, did you grew up in Pennsylvania? You had like, did you have the radio flyer and the death discs?
Yes.
We still have the steel. And how about lawn darts? I mean, lawn darts. We were talking about this the other day. We're like steel tip darts, and you stand on the other side, like two people stand over there, two people stand over there, and you throw these projectiles at each other and hope you don't stab each other.
These are darts. These aren't darts. These are darts.
Well, jarts. I think they were called jarts or something like that. And then those steel discs. Oh my God, that we'd get. You shove yourself down some like icy slope and and you have no control. It was like tree. How did we survive our childhood?
Okay, but did you go skiing?
I was a skier. Okay. I was a racer.
I've done water skiing, but I've never been on snow skis. Yep. But wait a minute, it gets better. I lived on the backside of Camelback Mountain in Pennsylvania and literally, I could walk over the back of the mountain to the ski slope faster than I could drive around to get to it. Never on snow skis in my life. Every one of my brothers did, but not me.
That's insane. Well, yeah, no, I raced, and I was born in Michigan. It's like the flattest state, in the country or whatever. I was born in the wrong state, but yeah, I've skied most of my life. So, and water skied too. We grew up there's lots of lakes here too. So we were just talking. It's so funny. We had a sister, a nun, show up at the funeral home. We always had, my family's Catholic. We always had a nun in our family. We had this Sister de Sales who we got up on water skis. And the other day at the funeral home, this lady shows up and she was Sister Bernadette Marie. And she said, "I'm here on behalf of Sister de Sales." I was like, and she goes, "Where's the picture of her water skiing?" I was like, "I know it's somewhere." But yeah, it's so funny, right? Like, yeah, we even taught a nun how to water ski.
That is truly adventuresome. So, but yeah, I mean, there is another stunt woman that I probably would want to interview now. I probably wouldn't have 3 years ago. I could care less, but I found out over the past year, there's another stunt woman I want to interview. It's only because I can't interview her husband anymore. And that's Eddie Van Halen's wife.
Oh.
I didn't know.
Stina. Yeah.
I don't know her, but
not Eddie.
Eddie, well, he was married to Valerie. I knew he was married to Valerie, but I didn't know he got remarried. I didn't follow his personal life that close. But
what's her name? Do you know her name?
I don't know her name.
Because Stina is married to Alex. I'm friends with Alex.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think. I'm like, I don't know who it is. You've got me curious now. I have to figure out who it is.
I'm looking. Janie Lewinsky? Lewinsky?
Oh, yeah. I actually don't know her. I don't know her. I wonder how long. Yeah. I don't know.
But you can reach out and get Alex Van Halen on my show. I'll take that.
He's super cool. We used to go to the racetrack together.
Now that's something I've done. Racetracks
with cars.
That is the one
cars and motorcycles.
Cars,
yeah.
I in Pennsylvania used to drag race my friends' cars because they were scared to get caught. I would drag race their cars because I knew how to get away.
Okay.
Never once got ticketed for drag racing.
Should I admit what I'm going to say right now?
Go ahead, say it. Come on, who's watching
I know. Okay, so when I first moved to California, I was young when I moved to California, and I worked doing valet parking at private parties, and we used to in Beverly Hills. I mean, we used to be like, I became such a snob. I'd be like, no, I'll just drive the Porsches that are BMWs. Like everybody else can drive the Volvos or whatever else. And I mean, we would drag race people's cars down the street to Beverly Hills. It was terrible. I took this guy's 911 on a rainy day up the canyon. And I was like, I'm just going to go up here and turn it around. Oh my God. Yeah. So never trust a valet. Sorry. Sorry to all the people. I never ruined anybody's car. I just took it for a short ride.
I can admit more adventures that I've done like that, but it's like interesting that we've done this stuff, and it's like most people wouldn't even know what we're doing it. I guess I do have an adventuresome side.
See, I get people to tell their stories. What can I say?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, now my best friend Richie passed away in 2003, and just weeks before he died, he bought a Ferrari, his first Ferrari. And his older brother, I'm still friends with his older brother and still talk to his older brother every day. But like his older brother was like away or something. So I was using his Lexus for something. And I returned the Lexus, and like his older brother bought the Ferrari and was driving it. Well, we're sitting at coffee one morning at Starbucks, and Jeff comes in and he goes, "Hey, man, I got the Ferrari up to 130 last night." And I looked at him and I said, "Jeff, I had your Lexus at 165.
Oh my God.
And he went, "My Lexus will do 165. I said, "Yeah, at about 166, it starts cutting out. It's okay though up until that point."
That's awesome. And here are the keys.
Wait a minute. It's funny because like even after that, I drove a ton of his cars because like I had a car.
Wow, he trusted you after that?
I mean, I never wrecked anybody's cars. I knew how to do it responsibly,
Right.
My Harley, I had like when I used to ride to California, I'd go I-20 and I-10 through West Texas. Well, you get I-20 past Midland, Texas, you can open that throttle all the way up and hit lock on that throttle and go because there's nobody for 100 and some miles straight.
Well, the thing that people, I'll meet somebody and they'll be like, "Oh, you're a stunt driver," and like, "What can you do?" or whatever, or they'll say, "What have you done?" Blah blah blah. They always ask about my career. I go, "Do you want to give me your keys? I'll show you what we can do." I say it every time. I had one guy gave me his Boxster. I was like, "Seriously? Let's go, dude. Let's go." But not many people go for that for some reason.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like I bet everybody listening has got some adventure they wish they would have tried. And now listening to you today, they're going, "Well, this girl did it. Why can't I?"
That's right. Why not? If I'm inspiring anybody out there, that's awesome.
Awesome. So what are some of the adventures you're going to take on over the next year?
Well, I mean, international travel has been, thwarted by this thing going on,
Yeah, this
kind of annoying.
I don't want to say it's a fake disease or anything like that because I get yelled at, so I won't. But anyway.
It's just, it's put a damper in my plans. I've been trying to do Patagonia and Africa for the last 2 years. So as soon as that opens up, but we have a beautiful country here. America is so beautiful, and like I said, I was just up. So I'm in the Detroit area now, and we refer to the northern part of the state as up north. So I'll be going up north in a couple days, and then beyond the bridge is the. And I cannot believe I have not spent time on the west part of it until just recently. And I can't believe the beauty. I'm no offense to Vermont, but I'm telling you, those fall colors up there are incredible right now. And then we'll have, when the snow comes, they have ice caves up there, and the ice from Lake Superior. I'm looking forward to photographing that. I recently met a gentleman here who is an ice climber, and I've been trying to photograph that for a while. So, but yeah, I'm always looking. I mean, for your listeners, I'm always looking for, athletes to photograph in, extreme environments. But yeah, so I was up in northern Minnesota. All that was really beautiful. And the only state that I haven't gone to yet is North Dakota. So if I can get there before the snow gets too bad, I'm going to try and make it there. And I also love the PNW, the Pacific Northwest. So at some point, get back out there. I was there last fall. And but this country, there's so much to see and do. And I've just opened myself up to new clients and new adventures. And so people can reach out to me and invite me. I always say, be careful. If you invite me somewhere, I will take you up on that invitation. Show up on your doorstep, you know?
Yeah, you got an open invitation to Texas because you got 2 friends down here.
Yeah. Well, I was actually supposed to come down and help Sandra. That was a possibility of helping her with some of the equine therapy that she's doing. So who knows? I may end up down there. But yeah, it's pretty open-ended right now. Like I said, my focus is the Arctic Wildlife Refuge expedition, which is like next summer. So really kind of working towards that goal. I would love to spend more time in Alaska. My fear about Alaska is that I'm usually a solo traveler, and there's a lot of things that can eat you up there. So the one time that I went was on my only cruise, only because it was safer. But I've been ticking off my national parks, and there's like 8 in that state, and there's it's such an expanse of places to see. So if I'm restricted to, this country, there's plenty to see and do. So I did go internationally to St. Martin, down to the Caribbean, however you like to say it, twice this year. So I usually don't have a tan, and my hair is always the same because I'm always doubling stunt people, or doubling actresses, I should say. And so it was the first time I was actually photographing in like a bikini running around on the beach with a tan. It was very weird to me, but and we'll see. And stunt work's still in the back pocket, but there's a lot of craziness about to happen right now. The crew is about to strike, and so it might be quiet for a while. So.
Wow. I'm curious though. Could you tell us some people you have stunt doubled?
Well, first of all, a whole ton of people, a plethora of women you don't know their names, but you've recognized. So I'm a tall blonde, and there's a lot of tall blonde actresses out there. But I have doubled Katherine Heigl on one particular project. I have a girlfriend that has doubled her for her whole career. Heather Graham. But yeah, there's oh my gosh, I did one of my favorites. Speaking of car stunts, I got to double Kristen Stewart driving a '68 Mustang in the LA River on a Rolling Stones video. So that was one of those, like, I'm too cool for myself right now.
That's cool.
Is this really happening? So, but I have my photography website, but I also have a stunt website, which is Trouble on Wheels. So if anybody wants any, answers to questions. Oh, the one thing that people are totally obsessed with is that I've spent a lot of time as a zombie, as a walker, as they call them, on Walking Dead. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's kind of a universal thing. Like I was in Germany listening to people speak German, and the only thing I picked up was Walking Dead, and I was like, should I go freak them out right now with a picture of me as a zombie? So, but yeah, that's something that I know that people are they love that show so much. So
yeah, I know what Alan, what ones Alan has done as well.
Oh, Alan is so easy because Alan has done Tom Hanks his whole career.
Tom Hanks. I know the one he doesn't have. I have my Wilson ball up here.
Oh my God! I just have to tell you, the island that I was on in the Boundary Waters. Yeah. The Boundary Waters is this canoe wilderness in northern Minnesota. It's like 1 million acres. It's a beautiful place. But I had one squirrel on the island, and I named him Wilson. I was on the island for a few days going a little crazy. I was like,
I've had that for I think 8 or 9 years. I got it like 8 or 9 years ago. I was at a convention and they were giving them away, and I'm like, I gotta have that in my.
Did you have him sign it?
No, I have not. I should have Alan sign it.
Dude, you have to have him sign it.
Yeah, I have the things I have. Okay, they're down here. This is the collectibles I'm into.
Nice.
I was a big Dale Earnhardt fan. And
Nice.
I had probably $20,000 worth of Earnhardt collectibles. And in 2003, my car was stolen when I was moving. And it was like we were loading it up to move, and they took it when it was packed. And
no.
yeah, that was one of the few that my wife has found that looks.
No.
I have this one as well, but this one was my dad's. I bought 2 of these, one for me, one for my dad, and then when Dad passed away, I got his. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Mine's gone.
Well, I'll send you one of my little my logo.
Oh, cool.
That's my logo. I'm trying to get it straight so you guys can see it. That's my logo.
I'm gonna blow it up real quick. Cool.
There you go.
Check that out.
So I have to tell you, so this little girl right here, that's my little mascot. So I before I left for Europe, I often have these little visions of a photo shoot, and I wanted to do an underwater shoot. I'm very much a tomboy, but I'm also very much a girl. And so I did a photo shoot of me in a very beautiful, elegant dress, shooting my recurve bow, jumping in the air. So I showed up to this photo shoot with a mini tramp and my bow and arrow and all this stuff. But the photo is really gorgeous, and it shows my femininity, but also my strength. And so I had wanted to do this other photo shoots in the similar vein of me in a beautiful dress in a pool. And I near drowned. It was it was so not what I thought it was going to be. And I'm fighting this dress and my hair, and it was insane. But we ended up getting a beautiful photograph. And I had just gone to the local Goodwill and bought this $6 J-Lo dress. And I thought, I'm going to ruin it. Well, it came out of the pool after being in the pool for 4 hours, and it's polyester. So it was indestructible, and it was perfect. So I took it with me when I went to Europe, and I wanted to do these, a series of me as a little splash of color in an epic landscape. So the first photo that I did was on a black sand beach in Iceland. And it's become, now I've taken this dress with me all over the world and shot some in the Himalayas. And so it became part of my logo. So that is the girl in the orange dress with a camera in her hand on top of the M mountain that represents my last name, and a globe, behind it. So that's my little logo. But I'll send you some paraphernalia. So you have some of my logo stuff.
I'll have to get that and have that put up on my shelf to keep.
Yes, absolutely. So, absolutely.
Yeah. More show memorabilia. So anyway. Before you go, I want to make sure everybody has a way to find out more about you. Your website is DailynMatthews.com. It's really easy. It's really easy to find. And on Instagram, I'm Dailyn Matthews as well. I have, Facebook, Dailyn Matthews Studio, and Twitter is, they're all linked on my website. So it's easy to find me there. LinkedIn as well. Everything matches, right?
Everything matches. Yeah. I think
this is Tim, the marketing company. Everything matches.
You know what? The only thing that I think Twitter wouldn't let me change something when I was branding. And so it says photography chick, so, but you can still search me on my name. So yes, everything matches. Easy to find.
I know everything was me. I switched everything with me with Tim. And for the longest time, my one Facebook page, because there's a lot of Tim Gillettes. But my one Facebook page, I took it because I used to have the long hair. If you see my old pictures,
yes,
long hair, and everybody told me I looked like Tom Petty, so I bought the domain name nottompetty.com.
Oh my God, that's perfect! I worked with Tom Petty back in my production days. Oh my gosh, you're right. You totally look like Tom Petty.
I would go to an airport and a random airport, and I'd be sitting at the bar, and somebody come over and go, you look like Tom Petty, But the one that really made me consider looking into that was LAX Southwest Terminal, going through security. Yeah. And the security agent comes up and goes, Tom Petty. And I'm like, no, I just look like him. And he followed me all the way to my gate to get an autograph.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, that's why what makes me the perfect stunt double. I always say this because once a day I get the whole "you look like somebody," and it's always it's like my one of a kind face, as I say, looks like everybody else.
And like I have a friend who does like documentary stuff here in Dallas, and they're kind of on pause when they do it, but I think it's for the E-Real network, or like Real channels, like she does. Yeah. And she said, if we ever do one on Tom Petty, we're using you. And I'm like, now you doesn't matter. I cut my hair off now, but
they have wigs, darling. They have.
I know. But anyway, that was mine. So, well, before you go, Dailyn, we have a little game we like to play with all of our guests. I have 7 envelopes. You pick 3 of these envelopes, and I'm going to ask you the 3 questions in each one of those 3 envelopes.
Okay.
So pick them up. Pick them in order. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pick the numbers.
Shoot, number 8's my daughter's favorite number, so there's no 8. All right.
No 8.
So there's no 8. So we'll just go with number 1. How about we start with number 1, shall we?
All right. Pick a second one.
4.
4.
That's my lucky number.
And one more.
Oh, how about 7 for my dad because he loved playing craps.
Gotta love that one. So yeah, we have a total like 8 or 9 of these, and we switch them in envelopes, so we don't know. I don't know what I'm going to get to you today.
Okay, this is
going to be fun. Envelope number 1.
All
right. Questions today are. Ooh, I love this one.
Uh-oh.
Number 1: Marvel or DC Comics?
Oh gosh, seriously. So, quick story. My friend had a Evel Knievel action figure in his glove compartment of his Jeep. And I was like, oh, I want to have an Evel Knievel. I want an action figure in my car. So I went to the store and I went into Walmart or something, and there were no female action heroes. And I said to the guy working there, I go, where are the female action heroes? He goes, well, there's an aisle of Barbie right next door. And I go, dude, you need to walk away before I hurt you. I was like, wait, what? So now we're finally in a place where we have a Captain Marvel and we have a Wonder Woman. Yeah. And I think those are split, aren't they? Isn't DC Wonder Woman?
I don't know which one's which. I just put it on there to find out who really has a passion about one or the other. Yeah, like I love Black Widow, but she's not a superhero. Yeah. So that's a tough one. I love Wonder Woman, but we're doing all the Marvels. I just worked on a Marvel film, so I guess I'm going to have to go with Marvel now. All right. Again, some of these have passion behind them, and some of them have passion behind them for the people I'm asking.
I kind of want to walk in between both of them, so I don't know.
That happens on a few questions of all my questions. But question number 2. McDonald's or Taco Bell?
Neither. I don't eat fast food. The only fast food I'll ever eat is In-N-Out Burger. I'm a Californian, so In-N-Out Burger.
I was gonna put one. I still might make one that says Whataburger.
In-N-Out Burger, man. In-N-Out Burger, yeah. But I did work. My first job was at McDonald's. Yep.
I love McDonald's. Like that McDonald's has always been my favorite fast food. I love In-N-Out Burger. They're my favorite right now. But McDonald's for years. I mean, when I was broke and homeless, I ate McDonald's every day.
Well, we were all poor at one time, right?
So, question number 3: the Dallas Cowboys or the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Dude, you're not going to like me right now, but I'm going to have to go with Steelers because, so growing up, our family friends right next door, they were Steelers fans. And so that's if you talk about college ball, though, you want to talk college ball, that's a different story. I'm a Wolverine through and through. So if you want to talk, do an Ohio State or U of M one of these days. And so, So sorry about that.
No, I don't mind. I grew up in Pennsylvania. All right.
No, that's right.
Yeah. So when it comes to the Cowboys, living in Dallas for 25 years, I learned that as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, that we have 2 favorite teams. The Eagles fans have 2 favorite teams. Number 1, the Eagles, most and foremost. Number 1. Right. Number 2, favorite team is whoever's playing Dallas.
There you go. Bump, bump. Perfect.
And they have to be controversial that go nationwide. Otherwise, this doesn't work. So,
Right.
envelope number 4 is our next selection. Here we go. Ooh. I love it when the girls get the boys' questions.
Oh, well, I'm kind of a boy anyway, so have at it.
Boxers or briefs?
Are you asking my preference on a man wearing them, or is this
what you're wearing?
I'm
not saying
wearing. Boxers.
Boxers.
I think I'm blushing a little bit.
Yeah. I had one girl come on that got that question one time, and she basically went to me. She said, "Listen, by the time I get him down to those, I hope he's got nothing on." And I'm like,
"Oh
my goodness!" Yeah. Anyway, question number 2 in our envelope, and number 4, and that is Coke or Pepsi.
Once again, neither.
Don't drink them.
I don't drink either one of them. No, nope.
I don't either. Oh, I'll drink Coke every now and then, but like if I drink a soft drink, I have Dr. Pepper, and I think I buy like a 6-pack every 2 weeks.
Well, you've had me on for a few minutes here. Can you? I haven't had a cup of coffee since my college days. I can't do it, I can't have any kind of caffeine. So, and I always say nobody wants to see that anyway, because I have a lot of natural high energy, so I don't really need it. But if I drink a soda, it's a root beer.
Oh yeah, birch beer. We had this Pennsylvania Dutch birch beer we used to get.
Oh, is that good?
Good. Yeah. So, my last one here, which should be adventuresome with you in this envelope, and that is, would you rather stay in a hotel or camping?
Oh, camping, 100%.
I figured you were going to be a camper.
The best sleep ever is sleeping on the ground. And, the more we learn about like our connection with the earth, it's like really grounding. It's just like you need to go outside and put your feet in the grass, once a day if you could, at least once a week, but actually reconnect with the earth. And I really do. I think I do connect with the earth when I'm camping. So
my wife loves to camp. To me, camping is a 4-star hotel.
You would have not liked that storm I was in. I'll just say that.
We stayed. It was like we went 2019. We went on our summer vacation trip, and we went through like New Mexico and northern Texas and back. And we did like every other night. We'd stay camping one night, hotel one night, camping one night, hotel one night to balance, right?
Yeah.
And
you get a shower that way.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, we stayed camping, and the place we got for camping, literally the whole night was blowing the tent over, and like the tent, I'm like, I'm like, oh, I hated it. But anyway, so let's go to our last envelope.
Okay,
here we go.
I've made it through so far.
We got us through so far. Oh, this is the easy one.
Yay!
Yeah.
Lucky
in your
7.
car, do you now listen to podcasts or music?
I do on long drives. Mm-hmm. Actually, I catch up on my phone calls. But I do listen to music. But I listen to audiobooks. So
okay. Yeah. I used to do that when I drove truck in the early 90s. I listened to audiobooks, books on tape. Like I used to get cassette tapes at truck stops and listen to them in my truck.
Yeah. And so I do like the audiobooks. I love actually interviews. I love listening to people really, people that are really skilled, as an interviewer. Mm-hmm. And then they're interesting guests. I do a lot of, when I'm editing photos, I listen to a lot of YouTube interviews. I guess, called podcasts or whatever, but I listen to them on YouTube. I have a neurobiologist that I really love listening to. So talks about the brain and all the, sports on the brain. And it's fascinating to me. So
and we took a road trip one time. My wife and I, we were listening to, she got me into listening to the lady who's on public radio. And I can't think of her. She's a really good interviewer. And she was interviewing Howard Stern. Of all things, like I was never a Howard Stern fan, but I always have studied Howard Stern because how he how he became successful. And she was talking about that, and Howard talking on the interview and saying, I had to learn to interview people. He never did.
Yeah, it's really I mean, you must know. I mean, it's a skill. It really is. And some people, there's this one gentleman I listen to, I literally am writing down words. He has the most impressive vocabulary. And to me, it's awesome because I'm like, wow, I'm learning new things right now, just listening to him ask questions.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, I mean, and that's why I created my show here around the idea of I want to learn to interview people so I can get to know them.
Yeah.
So I love it when I get like like you. I didn't know you before today's show.
Right.
But at the end of the show, I really know you.
And you've made me feel very comfortable. So thank you very much.
Cool. So 3 more questions we got. Number 2 in this one here is high heels or boots?
Oh, God. Just this last move was so difficult. I've moved a lot, but I'm always moving, but I'm actually full nomad right now. And I'm not a shoe person. I'm not I love wearing high heels. It's the girl part of me, but definitely more of a tomboy. And just I had to have a whole tub of, are you ready for it? Cowboy boots, hiking boots, winter snow boots, just a pair of dressier boots. I'm like, I just have a tub full of boots and tennis shoes, trail shoes and tennis shoes. It's ridiculous. I go, I think I threw in one pair of high heels.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, they're downstairs. I was going to show you my sneakers that I have, but I'll bet you never guess what kind of sneakers I would have.
Vans.
What maybe there would be some
Chuck E. Cheese.
Chucky's, but maybe there would be somebody's design might be on them. Any idea who?
Dale Earnhardt?
Nope.
No, somebody's design.
We've talked about him already on the show, though.
Oh man, you're gonna quiz me on this?
No.
I
have so much Van Halen stuff.
Oh, the Van Halen stuff.
Yeah, the Van Halen. Remember the Van Halen? I've got a pair of sneakers like that.
Yeah, like the pattern, right? Yeah. Is it orange and white or something?
It's red, white, and black. It's kind of an orange red though. Yeah. But
that's so funny.
That's the pair of sneakers. Other than that, I've got 14 pairs of Cowboys.
How was I supposed to guess that? I didn't know that they made sneakers that were Van Halen sneakers.
I mean, I got them after he passed away, but most of what I used to wear, when I go to speak at an event, I'm wearing cowboy boots. I have 14 different pairs of cowboy boots. One of them is a custom-made pair.
Ooh, you spent some money on those.
Actually, I got them secondhand. So my old clothing person, she works in Hollywood, but she had a side business doing clothing consultant, and she had a client that was had to dress up for an event as a cowboy in Tennessee. So he went and had these boots made, paid $1,000 to have them made, wore them one time, gave them to her, and said, "Here, get rid of them."
Awesome.
She sold them to me for $300. And I'm like,
perfect.
I have boots I've paid $700 and $800 for that are nowhere near as good a quality as these. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a pair of kind of muck ones, and then I have my cowboy boots, which are my riding boots, Yeah.
So my last one is when you go to the movies, do you get popcorn or candy?
Candy. Lots and lots of candy.
Raisinets? Raisinets or snow
Goobers, man. Goobers. Well, raisins are only meant to be in a box without anything else on them. Okay. I don't like them in cookies. I don't like them in my cereal. It's just in a box.
There's a question I could put on, having them in cookies is I do not like, and I'm sure you probably do, I do not like chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, Tim.
No. If I put up a question, peanut butter cookies or chocolate chip, I'd take the peanut butter all day long. I
like peanut butter chocolate chip. How about that? Yeah, anything with chocolate.
Yeah, the peanut butter chocolate chip we used to make back east with the Hershey Kiss into it. So chocolate, peanut butter.
Kissy cookies. They call them kissy cookies. Yeah, we make those for Christmas. Absolutely.
Yes. Love them. Yeah. So. Anyway, it has been fun having you on the show today. I want to make sure one more time people on the audio as well as video can hear your website. So tell them one more time how they get a hold of you.
DailynMatthews.com on the internet, and on Instagram, it's Dailyn Matthews as well. I've got a Twitter, I've got a Pinterest, I've got a LinkedIn, I've got a Facebook that's Dailyn Matthews Studio. So there's so many ways to reach me. And with my stunt career, there's 20 Google pages of me. So, you type my name in, you'll find me.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate you being on the show. All right. Taking time
Thank
out of your schedule today and sharing with my guests. All right. I really appreciate that. Thanks so
you
much.
so much for having me. It's been a blast. Thank
Cool.
you. I really appreciate it.
All right. To you guys, the listeners, all right. Thank you for being a listener and tuning in today. All right. If you haven't already, go over to DailynMatthews.com and check this girl out. She is one of the coolest people on the planet. I'm Tim Gillette with the Tim Gillette Show. Be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as where you get your podcast. And I'll be back with another great guest real soon. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Bye.